One of the most famous Bible passages is in Psalms 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures and leads me to still waters. And if you continue reading, you come to verse 5, which says, He prepares a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Another translation says, You prepare a feast for me in the presence of my enemies. Now why would God prepare a table, a feast for you in the presence of your enemies? Wouldn't it be a far more reasonable expectation for the Lord to be your shepherd? For Him to make you lie down in green pastures? For Him to provide another way that's not through the valley of the shadow of death? And then finally, wouldn't it be a reasonable expectation for God to defeat all of your enemies and then prepare a table for me to feast in peace? But that's not the case. And for us to understand, I think we have to look at the book of Isaiah. In chapter 55, where God says, My thoughts are not your thoughts. My ways are not your ways. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways. So if we take a step back and look at Psalms 23 again, you have just come through a dark valley. You have just escaped death shadows. And then the Lord prepares a table for you before your enemies. What this says to me is that so long as God is leading us, there is nothing that can touch a child of God. Secondly, a table set before my enemies suggests to me that the battle is not ours. Because if it was ours, I know that I would have been so focused on fighting the enemies in front of me that most likely I would have overlooked the table that God has set before me. Because I would have been weary about the enemy's attack if I even dared to sit and eat on that table. God has set a table before your enemies to demonstrate His care and provision even in the most unlikely of circumstances. Let me put it this way, God will bless you despite your enemy's attacks. God has blessings for you in spite of your enemy's plans and schemes. He sets a table in front of them to show and demonstrate His power. Your enemies can see you, but your enemies cannot touch you. No enemy you face can stand in front of the Lord. I also believe that this scenario is symbolic of a Christian who may be facing adversity. Someone out there who may be experiencing difficult circumstances. But God can somehow give them the grace to have a peace beyond all understanding in their hearts. They rejoice always despite what's going on around them. And so I think this is the same. For you to sit on a table and feast, you need to have some level of comfort and you need to have some level of peace. In this scenario, God is saying to us, I will be that peace. I will be that comfort, even in front of your enemies. Now, if we focus on the word prepare, the Lord prepares a table. When we talk about preparation, it means that it's something that's not done casually. When you look at sports, for example, they say poor preparation leads to poor performance. Coaches prepare for football matches way in advance. Everything from the team selection, tactics, formations, it's all planned out way before the event. And so I believe that for the Lord to prepare a table before your enemies, He has a plan in mind. He's taken every detail into account. God has taken the time to plan what will be on that table, where that table will be placed, who will eat from that table, who will even see the table, and how you will get to that table. The word preparation implies that thought, time, and effort has gone into doing that thing or getting that thing ready, in this case, a table. So be at peace. The Lord has prepared a table for you to dine before your enemies because He will deal with your enemies. Exodus 14:14 says the Lord will fight for you and you will hold your peace. And I'd like to put it this way: the Lord will fight for you and prepare a table for you to dine in peace. Your enemies are in God's hands. You simply need to focus on God's plan, let go, and let God deal with your battles. Thanks again for watching. If you were blessed by this, please like and share and make sure you've subscribed.